Okay, this film has been a long time promised. Many people have requested it. Today I finally got up off my butt on a Sunday and sat in a theater for 3 hours and 26 minutes, which was my hesitation because I just was not feeling it after being let down with the buildup of the Oppenheimer movie, and that was a very long movie. I just didn't know if I had the stomach for another 3-hour film. But this movie, I was happier with the outcome. 2023, Killers of the Flower Moon. I only have a ticket stub for reference because I saw it in theaters. Directed by Martin Scorsese, 3 hours and 26-minute runtime. This film dated all the way back to, I think, 2017, maybe even earlier than that. The film is based off of the book of the same name by David Grann, which is a nonfiction historical documentation of the horrific events that befell the Osage Nation of Native Americans there in Oklahoma. I feel like this movie can go hand in hand with the fictional P.T. Anderson directed and based off the Upton Sinclair novel Oil. That movie I highly recommend. I think it's one of the best of 2007. There Will Be Blood. I feel like you need to see these movies together because if they are fitting, they both take place in a similar time period. Although one is fiction, it is dealing with real scenarios revolving money and oil and all of the evils that befall humanity in their quest for greed. Unfortunately, these real-life victims were the Native American tribes that had the mineral rights, and oil was discovered, and all these white men came down upon them to commit acts of evil to reap the wealth. And sadly, that is the plight of many a Native American in the history of this country. So, this movie has not been a commercial success. It had a very ballooned $200 million budget, and so far it has only grossed $127 million worldwide. It debuted on May the 20th, 2023, to much acclaim at the Cannes Film Festival. Beautifully filmed movie. It is long. I think you gathered that from the beginning of my introduction, and it started off slow, but as the movie kind of wore on, I did end up liking it more. I found myself texting people from the theaters like, I don't know if I could do this 3 hours, and it just wasn't grabbing my attention. My friend Vince, huge shout out. He said this was not his favorite Scorsese movie in the last 10 years. His last favorite Scorsese movie, now, I saw the last Scorsese movie with him in theaters, The Irishman, and that movie was just okay. His last movie that he noted as being his favorite Scorsese movie in the last 10 years was Silence, which is a superb film. 5 out of 5. I've never reviewed it here on the channel, but if you have not seen this, it is worth a watch. Adam Driver, Andrew Garfield, and Liam Neeson. Superb Scorsese film. And this movie is also, I feel like it is superb. I enjoyed it. And I'm going to jump right into the ratings here. I am 4 out of 5. It was good, but it just did not grab me some of his other films. It's a different movie. It's more of a real life story, and it's a different way that he tells stories. Like the cinematography is just okay. I feel like he used an exaggerated film stock. Was filmed on location in Osage and Washington counties. The most expensive movie filmed in Oklahoma film history. Scorsese did the screenplay with a guy named Eric Roth. And they worked hand in hand with the Osage Nation to tell their story as accurately as possible. And originally, it was kind of written to portray the FBI as coming in and saving the day. Then they rewrote the script to kind of be more focused on the Indian Nation. This is the 6th or 7th collaboration. Let me look here. I can't read my notes. They're just so extensive for this particular film. It's like the 7th collaboration between DiCaprio and Scorsese and the 10th collaboration between De Niro and Scorsese. It is the 11th and final collaboration of a film score by Robbie Robertson, working for the musical score on behalf of Scorsese, and he died during post-production, so he never got to see the film be released. Overall, its critics are loving this movie. 93% Rotten Tomatoes score, 8 out of 10, very high IMDb score. Google users, they're in the 4s with me, 80%. I don't know what it was, but it was good. And then it kind of ended like an NPR radio story, which they were kind of emulating a 1940s radio theater dramatization. Um, I don't know. Like, I liked the story, and it made me angry that there was not true justice served, which I feel like at that particular point in time, and sadly, in Native American history in the U.S., they get a raw deal. But I'm glad the story was told. Historically accurate, authenticity. You cannot find a fault with Scorsese and his period correctness. If I'm comparing it to the other oil movie, There Will Be Blood, hands down, I like that one more. The accents are just cheesy to me. To me, the character accent for DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and this real life Ernest Burkhart that he was playing, it's like indistinguishable. Really liked his performance overall, though. Great dramatizations. Even Lily Gladstone, awesome. You really hate the Robert De Niro as the villain, but to me, it's just kind of like very formulaic. Their characters are very formulaic. I don't know. It was good, but it just didn't push me over the edge. Perhaps it was because it just dragged on for so long. But if you're looking at what Scorsese is wanting to do, Paramount and Apple working together to help bring this to light, they kind of let him do what he wants. He hated the studio system because of they controlled and they wanted him to do what they wanted him to do. So I like that he was able to just kind of take it and go with it. The visual effects were done by Industrial Lights and Magic. What else did I want to add? I don't know. It was good. And I would even say it was great, but it wasn't like what my friend Vince was saying. I think he said he was 4 out of 5. My buddy Andrew said he was 3.5 out of 5. It was just long, but I'm glad I did see it in theaters. And I do not know why it's not more commercially successful. I think it's because in part the length, and it's just a really dark story that not everyone's gonna want to go and see in theaters. Because you don't walk out of that movie like. I watched The Color of Money recently and I reviewed it and I felt happy after I saw that story. This, you're just kind of like exhausted emotionally, and it's just, that's my take. I don't really have any more to add. We're droning on here. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. I don't know what the next review will be. We won't promise you anything. You'll just have to tune back in and see. Have a great Sunday, folks.